These are some of the habits that are going to quietly ruin your 20s and you won't even realize it. Let's get started. Nobody tends to really tell you this, right? Your 20s don't get ruined all at once. They get ruined quietly. One late night, one scroll, even one I'll start tomorrow. And you don't even realize that this is happening. It goes a little like this. You wake up tired, check your phone immediately. You tell yourself that today's gonna be the day that you actually lock in. But then you find yourself sitting there at 11:47 in the morning and you're in the exact same spot. So my routine through all of that, I would wake up, it'd be super late. I'd sleep until 11, 10 o'clock, whatever. And I'm still actively even doing this. Like I'm noticing this in myself. That's why I think it's, super helpful for people that I know are probably going through it as well. I would wake up around 10, 11, and I'd sit there, I'd be looking at my phone, right? As everyone does. And then I'd get up, walk around, maybe take a shower, and then go eat some food. And then I'd sit there and look at my phone all day or play video games. And that is just not obviously what we're aiming to do in life. You have so much to see and discover and achieve, and we spend so much time locked in on these little things right here. We spend so much time doing that, right? But then, as of recently, I kind of realized that I was slipping, and I realized that I was letting myself and all of my vices take control of me, and I wasn't letting anything stop them from doing it either. Topic 1, dopamine overload. A lot of it gets portrayed as you being lazy, but in reality, a lot of it is just you're overstimulated because you spend so much time, as I've mentioned, many times, you spend a lot of time on your phone and you feed that dopamine bug pretty much every day, every second of the day. So when you actually have to do something that's not going to necessarily give you that rush, it almost becomes not worth it. We get sucked into our phone. We, watch short form content all day long. Even sometimes it comes with nicotine. Nicotine's also another thing that kind of stimulates you, and that's why it's so hard for a lot of people to quit. This is for my people out there that, study and always need background music. You always need something going on just at all times to keep you stimulated. I was at a point where I couldn't even sit in silence for more than 10 minutes. And that being said, ends up making you be in a spot where when you're not able to sit in silence for more than 10 minutes, it gets to you. It means that you can't get any deep work done. You can't actually have a thought. You can't have any time to think because it's not stimulating you. You just gotta learn to work over it, right? It makes it so hard to be able to stay disciplined when all you wanna do is have something going on, right? It's hard to quit something or stop doing something that's bad for you because it's giving you an actual feeling. A lot of people are addicted to things, and when you can't sit in silence for 10 minutes or 10 minutes without your vape, or you can't spend 10 minutes off your phone, whatever, then that's how you know you have a problem. Topic 2, late nights and no schedule, no structure. There's a saying that says the fastest way to lose control of your life is losing control of your sleep. And a lot of us tend to have this mindset of, oh, I'm young, I'll just sleep later, it's fine, like I can make it up and I'm okay and I'm resilient, right? And a lot of us spend a lot of our time, especially my guys out there, with like video games, staying up late doing that, being on your phone, scrolling on TikTok, scrolling on Instagram, watching YouTube before you go to bed. A lot of those things end up taking a lot of our time for us to actually be sleeping. When it comes to sleeping patterns, a lot of us have our own and we make our own, as every person does. But it is very hard to climb out of a deep hole when you get to a point in life where you're going to bed every night at 2 a.m. and then you're gonna wake up at 9 or 10 o'clock the next day, right? It's gonna be on the later end of everything. I've spent a lot of time, myself, trying to get into better routines, with everything, but sleep has been a big one for me. I've spent countless times getting myself back to it and then falling back and then going back to it and then falling back. And a lot of that stems from, my overstimulation. I need to stay up late when it's quieter so I can stimulate myself more in peace, right? It's kind of a weird way to think about it, but it's kind of what it is. But I can name plenty amount of times that I've tried to fix a sleep schedule overnight, right? And let's say I was going to bed at 2 or 3 in the morning every day. Now I'm waking up around 7 in the morning and I gotta go to work or something. I gotta do something like that, right? And you always notice how when you do that, it never ends up being worth it, right? I mean, you try to go to bed and you try to wake up and then, let's say you even do, right? which I know is hard for a lot of people, waking up on time, even when you're sleeping late, right? When you get into that moment, you know, you're gonna wake up, you're gonna be in a bad mood for the rest of the day, you're gonna treat everyone like crap, and then you're gonna just not have a good day, and that's just not a good thing, right? So the best way to just avoid all of that is just getting to bed at a decent time at night. Your mom probably told you that your whole life, and you know, mine did too. That's what I'm saying. You guys just have to learn how to go to bed at a good time. I promise you it will help, because I can attest to it. I'm sure we've all went to bed at a good time, woke up the next day, felt like, damn, I feel great. You know, when you also have terrible sleeping patterns and you're waking up super late every day and you feel just behind, that can really tank your energy. It can tank your confidence. It can also screw up your momentum, right? If you have, you know, work, or you have, you know, something you're pursuing, whether it's sports or, you know, college, just furthering your education, it can really screw up your momentum when you start going to bed super late, because you're gonna start, you know, waking up, bad mood. You don't really wanna be like getting anything done. You're just not determined because you already feel defeated for the day. It's just not a great way to start your day. Topic 3, comparing instead of creating. There's another saying that I'm sure you've heard, and it's that we consume more than we create. That is true for a plethora of reasons, right? We are really creatures of habit, and we kind of fall into that a lot, where we spend a lot of time trying to, you know, kind of stimulate ourselves, give us that cool thing, like, you know, try to consume what's being put out, right? And a lot of the time we're not creating, and that's why you see so many adults lose their creativity throughout their late 20s and, you know, even early 20s. Like, a lot of people already lose that creativity, and everyone wants to be just normal, right? Everyone wants to just be, like, they want to fit in, they want to be keeping up with the Joneses, but you got to understand that that's not everything. You know, a lot of people will watch my videos, or they will watch people with like maybe financial videos, or they will watch, you know, other even self-improvement YouTubers, and you spend a lot of that time telling yourself, oh, I'm gonna be good, or I'm gonna listen to this advice and become a better person, right? And you end up 9 times out of 10 never doing anything. You never take action on it. You feel that you did enough just by watching it, right? I was actually a huge person for that, and I feel like what showed me that I wasn't like that anymore was making this for you guys. I actually got off my ass. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to change it for myself, and then also I liked the content, so I started making it. And you know, this is a big one, right? Especially for a lot of my younger men and women out there. We compare all the time, whether it's beauty of other people, you know, the money they have, or the material things that they have, and that puts us in a very big hole. And I think that that tanks a lot of our confidence, more than anything, to be honest. And when you're comparing yourself to influencers left and right, and people who have millions of dollars, and to go along with that, I know that, you know, when I see those people, and I've always compared myself to them, I always felt super behind. I always felt like, damn, dude, you know, I'm 20 years old and I can't even do these things, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of crazy to think that, you know, at the age that I am, people are doing way better than me, and it makes me feel bad about myself. And I'm sure it does to a lot of you guys too. Topic 4, avoiding discomfort. This is a huge one for me because I've done it my whole life. I was straight up the guy that was just not gonna do it if it made me uncomfortable. But the truth is that your 20s are supposed to feel uncomfortable. They're supposed to be that time of growth, that time of becoming a man, becoming a woman, becoming what you said you would when you were a kid, right? That is the time when, you know, it's okay to be uncomfortable, because you don't really progress in anything if you're not uncomfortable. If it's comfortable, like I've said many, many times on this channel, if you're comfortable, not good. You know, it's okay to get to a place in yourself where you feel like, you know, you're mentally strong, you're physically strong, your body's healthy. That's really the only time it's okay to, like, kind of take a break for just a second. You know, it's always important to break it up a little bit. But when you're sitting there just letting the comfortability consume you, as it has to me, like many, many times in my life, you know, that's a huge thing. You gotta be able to overcome that. I notice a lot of people, you know, my age, were very bad with confronting people and just having hard conversations. We avoid them, we duck them, we try not to. We try to work our way around it, right? And if that's not you, good for you. But that is a huge problem that I've noticed, at least in my town of people, you know, like my small group of people that I've seen. I noticed that a lot. You know, you start avoiding doing the work or starting that business. You avoid going to the gym. You avoid quitting all the bad habits. You kind of just set yourself up for failure in a sense. One thing that I personally avoided for a very long time because it was uncomfortable was content. I didn't want to do it because, I was scared of what people would think, and I'm scared of this, that, and the next, right? What most people are scared of when they start. For me, that drew me back at least 6 months to a year, and what it really cost me was just more time on the platform, more time to learn, right? More time to figure out how to make videos better, how to, edit better, how to publish at the right time, all those different things that go into it. Now here's the turning point. The scary part isn't that these habits exist, but more so the fact that they feel normal. But we all know normal doesn't necessarily mean good, right? Now, don't get me wrong. You don't need a complete life overhaul. You don't need to watch this video and then immediately go and be like, okay, I'm changing everything wrong with me right now, and I'm gonna work on it for the next month. If you're someone who's done this kind of stuff before and you're used to kind of breaking habits and being able to power through them, then by all means. But for most people, that's not the case. So what I would recommend is pick 2 to 3 things, work on them, figure them out over time. It could be 6 months, it could be a year, doesn't matter. As long as you're getting better and you're putting in the effort to teach yourself, what's bad and what's good, then you're doing all right. Now here is the fix, the part that you've probably all been waiting for. Now, I'm not a guru, right? I'm not one of those guys that's gonna try to, give you this perfect plan so that way you can be, something amazing that's probably not achievable, right? But here's what I will say. What I would recommend is 1 hour in the morning without your phone, okay? And I'm not saying wake up at 8, sit on your phone till 9, and then have 9 to 11 without it. One thing that really messes with us in our body and with our brain is when you wake up, you should be getting that sunlight, you know what I mean? You should be getting that kind of stuff because that's gonna energize you for the day. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's just the truth. You gotta be able to get that sunlight in, you gotta be able to take in, this real experience that you're in and not worry about the fake one that you're gonna be looking at when you wake up. Here's another thing. Replace one bad habit that you have, maybe the worst one, try to work on that one. Try to replace it with going to the gym, maybe reading a book, or doing something that takes skill, like learning an instrument, something like that, something of the sorts. Try to find something that is going to pull you out of your comfort zone, but is also gonna make you be better at something, or bettering yourself. That's the whole point of self-improvement. And now listen, you don't gotta reinvent the wheel. You don't have to reinvent yourself, right? You just need to reduce the noise, okay? You need to be able to block out as much as you can, especially when you wake up and you get into this and that, right? And if you have people around you that are, bad influences on you trying to do that and trying to better yourself, then respectfully, you gotta push them away, because you're never gonna become the person you want to if you always hang out with people who are, bringing you down or other people down for trying to be better. Last but not least, your 20s are powerful, right? But unfortunately, they move with or without you. Now listen, I'm not telling you guys that you need to be perfect in order to fix this by any means, but you gotta stop bleeding time, right? You gotta stop it. You gotta put a Band-Aid on it. You gotta figure it out, because I guarantee you, after you watch this video, if you went into your settings right now and you checked how long you were on your phone every day, it would shock you. If you compare it to how much you're sleeping, you take that time out, you take how much time out for you to shower, just do all those things, how much time you genuinely have is crazy. And we all act like we don't have time, or we have these limits. Just give yourself some time to not be on devices that are directly just sucking time away from you. Pause. Now listen, just start small. Doesn't need to be huge. A start is a start, okay? That's it. Slow motion beats no motion. So get in motion with it. Start figuring out what works for you and try to figure out a good path for yourself. And this is No Peace Speaks signing off, but I really do hope that you guys, are able to figure this out. And, I know that it's kind of a touchy subject, and if you don't really want to, put that out there on the internet or whatever, feel free to always contact me. My Instagram is in my bio. But in other news, I am not for sure, but as of right now, I'm planning to be in Texas in 2 weeks. So not this video, not the next, but the one after that, you guys will be getting a huge vlog. We're gonna be going to, I don't know, I got some surprises for you guys. It'll be fun, but yeah, so stay tuned for that, because I had to make something happen. I know you guys, I've had a lot of people that I know just requesting, more vlogs, more stuff like that. So this is for you guys. Make sure to subscribe, turn on your notifications, so that way you don't miss this video, the next video, the vlog, or any. So, but I appreciate you guys for watching. It means a lot. Big love. I love y'all. Peace out.